You know, one of the main differences between those who are successful in life and those who are failures is perseverance. It's really true. Those people who stick with it until they're done are more likely to be successful than those who give up along the way. And you've been perseverant. You stuck to it until you got an entire module drafted and ready to go to tryout. And that's worth rejoicing about. This is a milestone. You ought to take a little time out, say something nice to yourself, and smile at yourself in the mirror at the very least. But now that you've made the soup, it's time to get somebody to taste it. So we've got to go to tryout. Now, if we were all mind readers, we wouldn't have to do tryouts. But we don't have a bona fide mind reader's license, and so we're going to have to ask for somebody else's help in assisting us to figure out what to do to make the module work better. Now, the tryout is the fastest and the cheapest way to get information about how to make it fly better. So in this workshop, we ask you to do the tryout, at least your first tryout, on video. And that is because your own behavior is important to the success of the tryout. If you accidentally turn off your tester by something you say or something you do, they're not going to be too helpful in giving you the information you're looking for. So we ask you to do at least the first tryout on video. Once your behavior is okay, then you won't have to do it on video after that. The procedure consists of giving your module and whatever associated pieces there may be to someone and asking for their help in working through it while you observe and take some notes. But let me talk about the tester for a moment. This is a person of whom you're asking for a favor. You're asking a favor. You're asking them to work through the module. You're asking them for comments, for constructive criticism about what might be done to make it better. They're being asked to help you. So thank them for their participation right up front, not only at the end, but also at the beginning. Tell them what you'd like them to do, show them what you'd like them to do, answer any questions they may have, and then step aside. Let go of it and be a chair. Be sure to take notes, but be a chair. Though these people may be willing to make constructive comments, they may not always do it in the most tactful manner. Not on purpose, but how many of us have had training in tact? How many of us have had training in how to make constructive criticism smoothly without ruffling somebody's feather? We haven't, have we? So people may accidentally be clumsy in their comments. But there are other reasons why you may think that their comments are tactless and hostile. In the first place, you may be a little more sensitive right now than you otherwise might be. After all, you've just given birth. Here is this marvelous module, and people are making these constructive criticisms about it. How dare they do something like that? Or they may think that criticisms are expected. They may think that they're not doing their job if they don't find something to pick at. Or they may feel dumb if they don't find something to poke at. Or they may have had a bad day. There's no cat to kick around, but there's your module. Or maybe that they're jealous. You've accomplished something and they haven't. And maybe they're the kind of people who can only get attention by being critical. So there are a number of reasons why people might appear to be more critical than they actually are, and why it may appear to you that your module may not be liked or may not be as functional as you are hoping that it will be. Fortunately, there are some ways that you can neutralize the effects of these kinds of comments. First off, remember that at this point, you are a reporter. You're not a judge. All you're doing is collecting information. You're writing it down. And that's the first thing you can do to neutralize the effects of these comments. The second thing you can do is remind yourself that they're not attacking you personally. They're talking about the module. Sure, you wrote it, you put it together, but still, this is not a personal thing. And finally, remind yourself, say to yourself, I may not pay any attention to this comment at all. I just may throw it away. I may ignore it. And that's absolutely true. There are some comments made that you ought not to pay any attention to. See, when you're trying out the module for the first time, you are likely to get some substantive comments. Substantive in the sense that they suggest some serious or significant changes to the module, like take this clump from here and put it there, or add some practice, or take this out. Those are substantive comments. Once the module is working, all you're going to be getting, and this is how you know when you're done with tryouts, you're going to get nothing more than cosmetic comments. People are going to be talking about the style. They're going to be talking about the words you use, the phraseology that you use. At that point, you're finished with the tryouts, because people are always going to find things to say about it. There won't be an absence of comments. But once they get to be cosmetic, then you can say to yourself, aha, that's a sign that I'm either at the end of my tryout or near it. So final word, be sure that you take notes during the tryout. Write down everything that somebody says, write down every clue to the improvement of the module. You see, if they don't say anything to you during the tryout, that means the module is working, doesn't it? If they say something to you, if they look in your direction with a puzzled expression on their face, it means that there's something that needs attention. And those things you should be making notes about so that you can think about whether you're going to do something about it once the tryout is over. So, you've got a module there ready for tryout. Why don't you go and see how it flies?